the next one you got to get into because I know how excited you are about new technology in gaming.
Sure am. Just to make sure, what article did you have up next? I want to make sure we're synced up.
Oh gosh.
Because we did Star Wars. I think I had Star Wars last. Man. It's not a huge deal. It's not a huge deal, Mike. You're gonna like freak out. It's not a huge deal. But I did have to do a quick swap. I did quick swap, but we adapted. All right. So I just want to make sure. Right. We talk about the ESRB thing. We talk about that, Mike. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what I meant.
All right. ESRB is very interesting. It is what rates all your games. When I was young lad, I had parents that would not allow me to buy the M-rated games when I was below the age of 17. It's very true. And it's so weird how it's like 17 and not 18, because you would think, it's very strange.
What's the difference? Yeah.
That's a good point. I in the right context, it sounds wrong. But anyway.
Yeah.
So.
No. This guy.
Okay. Anyways, the ESRB. They want to start using facial scanning technology to check people's ages, Mike. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Dude, have you seen Minority Report?
I have not.
With Tom Cruise?
I have not.
Well, it's a good movie. I'd recommend you go see it, but every time I tell you to go watch a movie, don't do it anyway, so I don't think it matters anymore. But
it's not my fault Detective Pikachu wasn't on a streaming service that I own, okay? You want me to spend
Terminator's on every...
Do you want me to spend $8 for you? Is that what we do, Mike?
Yes, kind of.
Actually, it'd probably only be $4 to rent it, but yeah. Anyway.
It'd probably be less than that. Oh, man, you're killing me.
It is my birthday, Mike. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
if it's that big of a deal.
That's true.
You could just get it to me, you know what I'm saying?
You go ahead and start reading. I'm going to go look up where I can find Pokemon.
All right. Listen. Ladies and gentlemen, the ESRB wants to start using facial scanning to check people's ages. The FTC is now seeking public feedback on the ESRB's proposal. I feel like I already know what that public feedback is going to be. But let's continue reading. There's been an update to this article. We'll read the original story, and then I'll read the update. Because I feel like that's kind of... We'll stay canon. You know what I'm saying? So I remember a couple of years ago when Chinese gaming giant Tencent began using facial recognition to keep the kids from playing too many video games. It turns out that the Entertainment Software Rating Board, North America's video game rating agency, is looking to do something quite similar. The ESRB, along with digital identity company Yoti and Epic Games-owned youth digital media company Super Awesome, have filed a proposal with the FTC seeking approval for a new, quote, verifiable parental consent mechanism called a privacy protective facial age estimation. Simply put, the parent takes a selfie assisted by an auto face capture module, which is then analyzed by the system to ensure it's the face of an adult who can then grant whatever permissions are required. The entire process of verification takes less than a second on average, quote unquote, and images are permanently deleted after the verification is complete. So they're not storing your data. Okay. I mean, quote unquote. Oh no, Mike. What are we thinking?
I don't know. It's interesting.
It's very interesting. The upload of still images is not accepted, and photos that do not meet the required level of quality to create an age estimate are rejected. The filing states, these factors minimize the risk of circumvention of children taking images of unaware adults. Of course, kids outsmarting the system isn't the only risk at play here. Accuracy strikes me as a big one, given the facial recognition technology is so notoriously racist. And apparently there's a study to back this up. A study conducted in the U.S., for instance, found that Asian and African-American people were up to 100 times more likely to be incorrectly identified by facial recognition systems than white people. That's kind of crazy. I did not know that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's wild. And maybe I'm underestimating the magic of work here, but determining whether someone is 16 or 18 based on a single selfie also strikes me as a real roll of the dice. The ESRB dismissed concerns about the fairness of the system, however, saying that, quote, the difference in rejection rates between gender and skin tone is very small. The data suggests that for those between 25 and 35, 15 out of the 1,000 females and 7 out of the 1,000 males might be incorrectly classified as under 25 and would have the option of verifying using another method, filing says. The range of difference by skin tone is between 8 out of 1,000 versus 28 out of 1,000. While bias exists, as is inherent in any automated system, This is not material, especially as compared to the benefits and the increase in access to certain groups of parents. So there's a little graphic, kind of shows you how it works. Talk about how they detect the face, how they compute the numbers, how they determine your age based off that. This graphic doesn't really maybe I just don't understand it, but it's a bunch of squares and numbers, and then it says result 26. Like it doesn't. It's like, okay,
Yeah. I don't get it either.
the actual tech behind it is probably over my head, but yeah. It's important to note that none of this is proposed as a replacement for current systems. Instead, the ESRB presented its facial age verification plan as an additional optional verification method that will be a particular use to people who don't have photo ID. In a statement sent to PC Gamer, Yodi also noted that the system works without actually recognizing or identifying individuals. Instead, the technology simply estimates the age of the image it sees. That's all good, and this is an opinion. This is an opinion from Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer. He said, "That's all good, but in my eyes, it doesn't change the fact that this really is a gross invasion of privacy." He said, "I sure as hell don't want to be sharing my mug with the great digital overmind just so my hypothetical kid can play some GTA Online." I mean, it certainly is. There certainly is those concerns, especially even for me, right? It's like, how private is this actually, and like how it's like it's every time I see stuff was like, oh, we don't save your photos or any of that identifiable data anywhere on our system. I definitely just like, I hate to say I don't believe it, but it's like, it's just hard to believe. Very hard to believe for me anyway.
That's where I am too. All of it's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's like, you have all that data. There's not only malicious stuff that can be done with that amount of data, but just from like an analytical standpoint, data scientists would probably be foaming at the mouth to get a lot of this information that is processed for stuff like this. So, Mike, I'm just gonna say, dude, money talks. I'm just gonna say, these companies are gonna probably approach and be like, hey, you could just like save like, a few 100,000 and send over the data, and we'll,
Yeah, the thing that I'm kind of like, it seems like I say like too many times. Got a comment about that. But the ESR, you know what I'm talking about? So the ESRB,
okay.
the ESRB, like going into this whole proposal of, I know it's just a proposal and they want public feedback, but it's going to be a little bit too much, right? Because if you're at the grocery store or like the gaming store and you're trying to make these purchases, you have to verify your ID if it's anything over 18, really, like plus 17. So, and people that are under 17 might not have the money, usually don't have the money on their own to buy games. They need a parental. Yeah, so I think it really comes down to parental consent, being of age to purchase, and that ID process should just happen online, like through identification or in the checkout line. Like, hey, it's rated M. Are you sure you want your kid playing this? That kind of thing.
Yeah, very true.
I don't think you need to take pictures of people to make it work, but it's also optional. So
yeah, that's true. I have a feeling not many people would use it, but then again, most people don't understand the complexities and intricacies of technology, so they're like, okay, it's not doing anything harmful, right? And so,
yeah, true.
Yeah, very interesting. It was an update to the article, which I will now read. The ESRB has released a statement clarifying that this technology does not confirm the identity of users, nor is it intended to scan the faces to minors to determine whether they're old enough to purchase particular games. It only uses images to determine the subject's age in order to ensure compliance with COPPA privacy requirements. Oh, COPPA. I've heard it a couple times, not only in my personal life, but at work, so very interesting.
I actually don't know what COPPA is. Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule? Yeah. Protection Act.
Yeah, you want to protect the children, COPPA.
That makes sense.
To be perfectly clear, this is a quote. To be perfectly clear with the ESRB, any images and data used for this process are never stored, used for AI training, used for marketing, or shared with anyone, the ESRB said in a statement. Quote, the only piece of information that is communicated to the company requesting VPC is a yes or no determination as to whether the person is over the age of 25. So we don't send the image to a data warehouse or a server just to verify it. We send a yes or no.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, ESRB. But yeah, look, it's one of those things. It's optional. It's cool and interesting, but again, yeah. I mean, there's so many systems in place already that work, so it's kind of just seems like a waste of research and resources. But here we are.
Yeah, true. But I mean, maybe they're just trying to get ahead of everything.
Yeah.
Because this is probably going to be the future anyway.